Welcome to Wick-Splaining. My name is Chuck Wick, and with me I have my brother Paul Wick and our producer Caleb. We are going to be discussing political issues on the local, state, federal levels.
Can I talk?
I'm the host, so I'll do as much talking as I want.
I'm not sure I enjoy that.
Well,
you can argue about who's going to do more talking later. We have a show to do.
We're brothers. We're going to argue.
That's fine, but the people on the other end don't want to hear you guys arguing right now. They'd rather hear about a good conversation that you guys have planned for them.
All right.
You're right, Caleb. All right, Chuck, well, let's get to the topics.
Okay, we have a great show planned for everybody today. And today we're going to talk about the DORA, Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area. This is a new proposed function in Troy, Ohio, which is where we are all from. It is something that our city council has discussed and voted on, and it's about to go in front of our residents for election on the ballot in November 2nd of 2021. If you're not aware of what a DORA is, it was established by the state of Ohio in 2015. It allows visitors aged 21 and older to purchase an alcoholic beverage from an approved and liquor permitted establishment, then stroll and shop within the DORA boundaries. Currently, 56 communities in Ohio have DORA districts. Troy's will encompass 20-acre area, including the public squares and part of downtown. It will operate Thursday, Friday, Saturday from noon to 10 p.m. Alcoholic beverages purchased from participating liquor permitting businesses could then be consumed outdoors and in businesses displaying signage that says they accept DORA drinks. The idea is for you to be allowed to purchase a drink at a liquor establishment, then take that drink and be able to walk around our downtown area here in Troy, with the idea that it would allow people to shop while also being able to enjoy a beverage. I think that this sounds like a great idea, and the idea behind it is, to bring in more revenue, bring in more customers to our downtown businesses. But there are some rules that they're establishing for this. DORA beverages must be consumed from marked DORA cups. Consumption from other vessels would not be permitted. DORA beverages are allowed only within DORA boundaries. There will be signage up that actually shows you where the boundaries are, and you're not allowed to leave those boundaries. I'm assuming their idea would be that they'll have police officers in those areas, just making sure that people are not trying to leave the area with their beverages. Beverages may include wine, beer, or liquor sold in a marked cup from a participating bar or restaurant. So I'm assuming they're going to have some kind of plastic cups that say DORA on them. The idea is that it's anyone who is patrolling the boundaries would know that this is a DORA beverage. You're not allowed to leave with it. Beverages may only be carried into stores displaying a green decal indicating the DORA beverages are permitted. Please be sure to check before entering. It says basically what they're saying is that these stores have the right to say yes or no. They want you to be able to come in or not. They're going to have a green decal on their door. Then you would know that your DORA beverage is welcome there. Cups must be emptied or placed in a trash receptacle before patrons enter a liquor establishment or any business with a red decal. They don't want you to be able to go from one liquor establishment to another with your DORA drink, or into a store that has a red decal that doesn't want to allow those drinks in there. And there may be many reasons why stores decide to do that. So the idea is Troy Police, it says, how will the DORA be enforced? Troy Police staff will monitor the DORA area during routine patrols. If you need assistance, please contact the Troy Police Department. This was originally proposed back in February of this year. The City Council did meet and agree upon it, voted on it, and it passed. It was originally supposed to be established and put into practice in April, but I do believe that some of the residents of Troy were not happy with that idea.
They did.
And they put together a campaign to have it placed on the ballot.
Stop it. I mean, they put it on the ballot to stop it.
Right.
It was the only legal avenue they had.
Right. It was obviously put together by the opposition of this idea. Now, the area in which it's going to encompass, if you're living in or been to Troy, Ohio, is a pretty large area. It encompasses most of the public square area, downtown area, and then it expands out on Main Street and Market Street, all the way to our bridge where the Miami River is, down to Race Street on Market Street, and then it goes from it looks like Short Street on that's crossing across Main Street to the east side down by our police station, which is a pretty large area to encompass.
But it also encompasses a lot of businesses.
Yes.
Is where I think their goal was.
Right. And so, as we were talking before we turned on the mics here to start recording, we come up with at least 10 different establishments, either public or private, in downtown Troy that sell alcohol. With that idea, there's a large number of businesses in which you can get drinks. Now, I don't know if all of those are going to participate in the DORA, but I know that at least there's that many that sell alcohol. Now, there are a lot of shops, clothing stores, little novelty stores, things like that in downtown Troy.
It's a bike shop. I mean, it's
bike shop, antique
nice
stores, things like that. That will have the availability to allow people to come in and shop with their DORA drink. I think this opens up a lot for these businesses, and what it can do for the future is unknown right now for Troy. But I think what the statistics show in other communities is there's been an increase in revenue for these businesses, and there has not been a marketable increase in crime or issues around it. So anyway, that kind of describes everything that has to do with the DORA itself. So we'll get into a discussion about our feelings and how what we think of the DORA going forward. So Paul, what did you have to say?
I feel like this goes back to what I've been saying for, 10, 15 years minimum, is, when I go to a mall and we have to go shop. I got a wife, now I have 2 kids, that I didn't have 2 kids 10, 15 years ago, but, me and my wife have been married 7 years now, and I've always been saying, why not have a mall bar where you can get a drink and then walk around to the stores? I'm not looking for, and nobody's going to be able to just, get sloshed and be like, I'm going to go try that dress on now. That's not going to happen. I mean,
actually, you'd be more likely to try on a dress if you were sloshed.
Exactly. And then they might be able to sell it to me if I was sloshed. So I mean, there's that.
There's definitely an increase in revenue for the stores right there.
Exactly.
I would imagine drunk people buy more.
We know that exactly from experience.
I was gonna say, have you ever been to a wedding shop?
Oh yeah.
That's why they offer wine.
They serve champagne.
Champagne and wine.
Oh yeah.
They have a better selection than most bars.
Or at least have better wine and better champagne.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they have the top shelf.
Yeah.
At these wedding dress places.
You're spending $1,000 on a dress, I guess that's what you can get. But.
Exactly.
Oh, $1,000?
And if you spilled something on these dresses, you're paying thousands of dollars.
All right.
So if I walk around at a mall and I'm looking at, going to GameStop, with a beer, I'm just looking for a video game. And, I was like, what? I like to drink a beer, watch go into this GameStop, look at some video games, good to go. sports memorabilia, the places, perfect places in a mall. So DORA is the exact same thing, except for it's not a mall, it's a city. And all of these locations are just trying to help each other out. And when you try to help all these businesses out, it's just better for business altogether. Because I want to go and look at the local farmers market maybe some afternoon. I love to buy some corn at the place where the Amish come down. But I also like to have a beer on Saturday. Why should I be secluded to go drink your beer over here outside of everybody else's view, or you can go buy your corn or your whatever you want? I shouldn't be. I should be able to do both at the same time, and that's going to help businesses out a lot.
No, I agree with you. Like with the city of Troy, the way they're made up, it's going to promote more people to go downtown, I believe.
Yes.
Not that Troy already has a pretty robust downtown during the weekends if you go down there, because they do got some good restaurants.
And the reason we call it the Square,
is
because you don't. And I don't mean to interrupt you,
no,
but.
Fine.
You don't drive around the square. It's not the square is where we hang out and have been since our mom was a child hanging out on the square. That was 1950s and 60s. That's how old the square has been in Troy, Ohio. But go ahead,
even longer than that.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say it's been way longer than that. But the thing, I can see the opposition where they're sitting there going, well, if I go down there, with my kids and my family, and I want to go have a nice dinner at this so and so restaurant, I don't want to have liquor cups and people drunk out in the street. But the problem is, the people who don't drink don't realize that people who do drink are not leaving. The drunks are going to go to a bar. They're going to stay there until they are too intoxicated to leave, and then they'll take a taxi.
The alcoholics are already there. That's the thing.
They've
it's not
been
going to change.
They haven't left.
And if you want to talk about the kids seeing anything, no one's ever brought up that the rec, our area where a lot of our youth spend time after school, is right in that same area with all of these establishments that we just talked about, the 10 different liquor establishments that we've had in this city.
3 right across the street
for many years. Right. There's one in the same block as the rec. And there's 3 right across the street from it. Like
the brewery has been, it's closed now.
Yeah, it's closed now, but it used to exist.
God, it was there back 60 when we were
years. Back when we were kids and we were going to the rec.
Oh, yeah.
That was,
So that's just literally a minute and a half walk from where we were playing.
But like Caleb said, there's 3 establishments right across the street from the rec. If you're walking out the front door of the rec as a child, and most of the kids that go to the rec are that sixth grade to 8th grade age range.
The influential.
So they're very influenced by this thing. No one has ever brought this up over all these years, and I know the rec has been established before we were even that age, because we used to go there, and that was 30 years ago or more.
Yeah,
that we used to go there. So no one has ever said that these establishments that are right across the street from the rec are causing problems for these kids to see. They're not there's not drunks coming out falling all over the sidewalk, puking everywhere, whatever. That these people seem to have in their mind. They have this idea, but...
and yes, after midnight, yes, you might see drunks falling out all over themselves.
But why is your kid out after midnight in the first place?
Exactly. And the DORA ends at 10 p.m.
Right.
Yes.
The DORA itself ends at 10 p.m., but the liquor establishments aren't closing at that point.
No.
A lot of them are open until like 2 a.m.
No.
Yeah.
Especially I know a couple of them in downtown are open later. And that's their normal business hours.
Yeah.
But the idea is not for the alcoholics to be able to take their drink and fall over the sidewalk. The idea is that it's going to allow for people to shop while enjoying their drink instead of sitting in the bar enjoying their drink and then going, I really don't feel like now going walking around shopping and stuff. Yeah. No, I can take my drink and I can go walk around. Yes. When I'm done with that drink, I can go back to the place where I got it, get another one, go walk around some more, and I can actually be spending my money at multiple businesses in downtown at the same time, basically, as opposed to sitting for half an hour, or longer in one establishment. It's just the idea.
Is going to get drunk in the bar.
Right.
He's going to stay in the bar until he's too foobarred to go anywhere else.
And this is where you need to put the Ron White thing right here.
Okay.
Yes, we're gonna splice in the Ron White joke. I mean, and I know it's. Well, it's not a joke. It's actually what happened.
And we got to say, we don't own the rights to this.
We don't own the rights to that. It's owned by Ron White.
I love to say part of his joke where it says, I don't want to be drunk in public. I want to be drunk in the bar. They threw me into public.
Right.
Arrest them. So... I love that part, because that's truly a alcoholic drunk. Maybe not alcoholic, but if you're just got out and had too many that night, you don't want to go anywhere. You want to just sit there and drink.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like the other thing I was looking into with it is like a place like Agave and Rye. Obviously, Agave is tequila, rye is whiskey and bourbon.
Right. Oh yeah.
So if you think about it, their mainstay is liquor, and if you think about it in the sense of a restaurant, what better option is there than a DORA? Because you could have someone who's like, you know what, I've eaten my food, I want to have a drink, but I don't want to take up a bar space. I just want to get something to drink, and then I want to go out and shop.
Yeah.
Right.
So instead of having them serve them in a glass cup, they serve them in a DORA cup.
Yep.
And they say, okay, I can leave now. And that opens up another spot for another patron.
And on the other hand of that, these bars could charge like a quarter more for the DORA cup.
Yep. And
because you're going out.
There's
or if you have...
From what I've been reading online, there are communities that are doing the DORA where you have to buy a permit when you walk in. I'm assuming it's kind of like when you go to a festival and you get a bracelet. You basically are showing that you're 21 or over. But a lot of places are charging $1 for this. Yeah. And I'm not sure where that revenue is going. Maybe going back to the city itself. I'm not really sure. But, that's also another way for revenue to be coming in.
Yes.
Now, I'm on a website for Mount Vernon, Ohio, which is a place that already has an established DORA. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about the increased foot traffic to restaurants and bars, ability to socially distance in greater, because now you don't have as many people in the establishment. You increased retail sales. It's talking about we are tasked with bringing a walking atmosphere back to downtown. So they want people to walk around. It's just going to increase the revenue of all the businesses in downtown when people have the ability to just walk around and not have to feel like they're caged into this particular establishment while they enjoy their beer or their drink or whatever. Right. Customer retention, it says equals increased revenue. DORA says has the ability to lengthen time visitors spend in central business district. So basically what they're saying is it's gonna keep people in the area longer, which also gives them time to spend more money and bring more revenue to the businesses.
Now, I love my alcohol. I love to drink. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a fat ass because of it. I drink way more than I can exercise. Because I have a sit-down job. I'm in a cubicle. I don't get to be able to be active as much as I wish I could be. But I don't go downtown to get just fucked up and plastered and just falling over myself. I got a wife and kids at home I got to take care of too.
Right.
So, you
can't afford to get arrested or anything like that happening.
No.
So you're not looking for that type of thing. And if somebody is looking for that type of thing, the DORA is not going to change their thought process. They're either going to do that or they're not, whether there's a DORA or not.
Well, and here's a very interesting thing I just read, that the city of Columbus has a DORA in the Arena District.
Oh, yeah.
If you've ever been to the city of Columbus and the Arena District, it now has the Columbus Crew Soccer Stadium. Mm-hmm. Like last night, probably not a good example because they both played pretty close to each other, but there's some times where the Crew will kick off a little earlier and Columbus Blue Jackets will play a later game. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it, you could be a person who goes and enjoys a soccer match. I'm not saying I am, but I have seen a couple. Leave there, go to a nice bar, because the Arena District, if you've ever been there, is a really nice area. Get a drink, get a DORA cup, walk, not drive, which is a good thing. Walk to Nationwide Arena.
Well, that's what it's for, walking.
Yeah. Walk to Nationwide Arena and enjoy a Blue Jackets game.
Yes.
That is just money and revenue in the city's pocket, because if you think about it, they get a tax cut from the ticket for the Columbus Crew ticket. They're getting tax money off of the drink and the beverage and maybe even the food the patron bought.
Yeah.
And then they're getting money from the Blue Jackets ticket. Plus, I guarantee you that person's going to get a couple beers or something like that ways at each of those games. You're talking money.
You're also not wasting alcohol at that point, too.
Right.
Because I go to that restaurant and I got a beer, but I ate a hamburger and I'm like, I don't want to chug this beer right this second.
Right.
I would love to just have it in a cup so I can drink it on the way.
A normal person wouldn't chug the beer. Paul would.
Well, you're right.
Paul and Chuck both would chug the beer.
You have to throw me under that bus.
That's an 18-wheeler, sir.
Yeah, that's a big bus. That's a tour bus.
But normal people, we are definitely not. I'm going to just go ahead and say that.
Don't have the last name of Wick.
Other than Wicks. They just want to walk. But because, on the other hand of that, your body, medically speaking, is going to burn that alcohol off walking
greater than it would sitting.
Right. So if you have that DORA, and you're walking around, you're not even drunk by the time you finish that beer.
Nope. Right. It's kind of like in the same respect when you're at a festival and you're out in the hot sun and stuff and you're drinking a beer. You don't feel as drunk as quickly, because you sweat it out.
You're not.
You walk it off, and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another thing I found online here says that nearly all restaurants, bars, wineries, and microbreweries have pointed to the DORA as being instrumental in keeping their business afloat during the pandemic. On average, 60% of a restaurant's revenue comes from its bar, and prior to the pandemic, the DORA had increased alcohol sales by at least 30%. So this is an article I'm reading from the Delaware Gazette, another city in Ohio that has a DORA right now. And they're stating that they prior to the pandemic, of course the pandemic, as everyone knows, did a lot to businesses and stuff. But prior to the pandemic, they had seen an increase in alcohol sales by at least 30%. That's monumental to a lot of these businesses. That's enough to keep a business afloat as opposed to completely dying off.
Oh yeah.
30% increase in revenue is huge. So just having that as an idea that could happen for Troy, I think it only allows for a greater reason why this type of thing should happen here. It would just expand the possibilities for all of the businesses in downtown Troy. It's going to, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I just feel like I feel very strongly that this is important for our community to allow this to happen.
I mean, it's not going to kill our community for it to not happen. Don't get me wrong. I mean, these businesses have been operating for years as is, but to support them as our Troy Main Street, Troy, I believe the organization is Troy Main Street, is an organization of the businesses that try to support each other. Mm-hmm. And I have to get that actual name, but I believe that's the name. Okay, thank you. So when they are trying to support each other as businesses, they try to accommodate for all of the things that are happening. Right. You know, and with these business sales, like you were saying, the taxes, the income to the city, mm-hmm. we can come up with better policing. Mm-hmm. We can come up with better policing, training. Mm-hmm. We hadn't. We're talking about DORA today, so I'm not going on an incident we had the other day. But we do need more training for our police. We may even, as a city, need to have more police, possibly, because we are expanding a little bit. I don't ever want to become a big city. I don't want to. I love my small town feel. Right. And I love that I came from this city. Me and Chuck and Caleb were all, born, raised here. Mm-hmm. And we love our Troy, Ohio. Mm-hmm. So I don't want it to ever become that big city, but I don't want it to ever, not have the income to have the funds to support the Troy Police, the fire department, the medical, and everything to be able to support what we're actually doing as a city.
And you spoke about the Troy Main Street organization, and they put on throughout most of the summer. They put on concerts in downtown on an area that they call Prouty Plaza, right next to one of our to an old style theater that we have in downtown.
The Old Mayflower. Yep.
And so one of the things that I've always thought when I've gone to some of these concerts is it would be nice to be able to sit here and listen to this concert and enjoy a beer, but I can't do that currently. Right. I can't go get a beer at one of our nice liquor establishments, alcohol establishments in downtown, and then walk over to just enjoy the music or whatever is going on in downtown at that time. That would be a very nice, added thing, I think, that would bring a lot of revenue to downtown. I know when I've been to those concerts, Troy as a city comes out in force for these things. Oh, yes. There's thousands of people that show up for these things. Oh, yes. They have to shut down the square usually and allow for everybody just to sit on the street and stuff because there's so many people that show up. And so can you imagine what that would do in revenue for these businesses when you're talking about, say only a quarter of the people that show up down there buy a beer or something to sit and enjoy the restaurant or enjoy the concert. That'd then that increase in revenue for those businesses is monumental. It's enough to keep, like I said before, to keep a business afloat as opposed to completely having to close. I know that there's some of our establishments in downtown that aren't always doing great on certain nights. I've gone up there a few times on different nights and stuff, and some of the places are just empty. So you need to bring that revenue in for.
And we're not even talking about the specific alcoholic establishments. There's other establishments in this business community that need the businesses. Troy businesses to help them as well. And we could even establish on these Prouty Plaza nights that, they put a booth together right there. They could sell beer or sell whatever, Coke, water, ice cream. I don't even give a damn. with something.
He means Coca-Cola, everybody, not Coke, the powder. Just want to make sure that's clear. We don't need canceled.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Apologize. Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, some bullshit like that. Whatever.
I'd like to say that Caleb earlier was doing like a 1930s gangster Uzi thing earlier, so, we're just, if he's going to point Paul out, I have to point him out.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, they could, Troy Main Street, the business community, could put together where they create funds for all of the businesses, and then they could divvy that out to businesses that are in Troy and help everyone at the same time. And I feel like that would be a great thing for our Troy businesses.
So one of the things I was looking up on this, because obviously this is, when I read about the DORA, obviously there's a lot of communities in the city or in the state of Ohio that already have one, and one of the big ones, another big one, happens to be the city of Dublin, which is outside of Columbus.
Oh yeah.
So I used to live there from 2015 to 2016, and during that time, that's when the DORA originally passed in the state legislation to allow communities to do one. Dublin happened to be one of the first cities to embrace it. They have two zones. They have the historic Dublin, and then they have the uptown Dublin. Uptown Dublin basically was built on the back of DORA. It's where a lot of new restaurants and businesses established themselves, and basically was built up because of the proceeds that they got from DORA. And Dublin actually has a schedule here. Monday through Wednesday, it's 4 to 8 p.m. Thursday through Friday, 4 to 10. Saturday, 1 to 10. And then Sunday, 1 to 8. But because of the way Dublin is, they have special events they do throughout the year. So the city council can establish a longer period of time, or shorter, depending on what's going on, to allow more people to do what they want to do. But like their map is twice the size of the city of Troy's, but once again, they also have two zones. But you got businesses in there where you've got bars, but then you have, the Avenue, which is a clothing store. You have the Exchange, which is a clothing store. You've got, I didn't know Urban Meyer has a pint house, but I guess he does. That's a bar. I don't know if he should have that, technically. We all know what happened with Urban Meyer going to a bar recently.
Well,
it's
to each their own.
But once again, it's one of those type of things where they've got shops, but they've also got a lot of eateries. And looking through this list, they only got like 4 or 5 actual bars. Rest of them are restaurants. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, that's saying, hey, let's go here to eat, and let's go walk and look at the stores we've got, and let's carry our drink with us. Because how many of us have ever been in a restaurant where everyone's done eating, you just recently got another beer, and now you got to sit there and chug it or make other people wait because they want to leave, and you're like, I just paid $7 for this beer, I ain't leaving.
And it's alcohol abuse to leave it there. So
exactly.
You cannot do that. It's against the rules.
I'm a fat guy. Don't get me wrong. I may never not be a fat guy. I'm telling the listeners they can't see me.
Right.
I'm a fat guy.
I'm not as fat.
I'm double the fat.
So I'm a fat guy. I love my food. I love my beer, and
his whiskey.
Extreme! I love my whiskey. Oh, yeah.
I'll drink to that. As I pour myself more whiskey right now.
There you go.
As I was saying, whatever. So as I was saying,
continue.
I can't chug a beer after I eat a large. If I have a great burger, that fills me up, and that beer is just too much to be able to put down before I leave the restaurant. So I mean, if this restaurant has a great burger, great fries, that's what I'm enjoying mostly. of this restaurant. So I don't want to chug my beer. I would like to drink my beer.
Right.
But I want to chug my beer just to leave because I've already ate a fantastic burger and fries. So this DORA is helping businesses move people out. Mm-hmm. Because how long would I have to sit there to let my burger subside? Yep. Because I'm not going to chug this beer, because I can't chug this beer, because this burger was too good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a great thing for the restaurant, except for now I'm sitting here.
Right.
And they can't
taking up a
this
table. Right. You're taking up a table.
Yes.
That now they could be moving you along, bringing in another party to sit there. And that's more revenue for them. It's turnover is a huge thing in the restaurant industry. You have to get those tables turned over and moved on to the next group. That's how you make money. You're not going to get rich in a restaurant business by seating your tables once a night and then closing your restaurant.
Right.
You've got to be able to seat your tables multiple times a night to be able to make money. Now, I mean,
what's the industry standard? If 30-minute table turn is fucking fantastic.
I would say 30 minutes is pretty quick. I would say more in the neighborhood of 45 minutes
45 to an hour.
45
depending on the day too.
I never did.
It also depends on the restaurant. The restaurant itself can matter too, because if you're at a more of a higher level fine dining restaurant, you're actually going to stay longer than if you're at a lower level establishment that you're just basically sitting to eat and you're leaving.
Huge difference between Chipotle and fine dining.
Mm-hmm. Well, so for the example, for the city of Troy, for any Troy listeners, let's say you go to the Caroline. You have a good steak dinner. Mm-hmm. You got a couple beers.
Always have an appetizer.
It's
a 4-course meal.
Oh, it is. You got this appetizer, salad, usually the entree, and then the dessert. You're sitting there for maybe on a Friday night, probably about an hour and a half, if that, maybe an hour 45. Yeah. And then let's say there's a concert series at the Prouty Plaza. Mm-hmm. You want to go to that, but at the same time, you just recently got another beer.
Or a glass of wine.
Or a glass of wine,
a glass of whiskey. Whatever.
Glass of whiskey, whatever it might be. That restaurant, if they wanted to promote the DORA, could say, sure, we'll get you a DORA cup, but it's an extra $1 onto your bill.
Or 50 cents, whatever.
Or 50 cents,
whatever.
It doesn't matter.
I'm going to pay that $1 to not have to throw out my $9 bottle or a glass of wine.
Right.
Or my $7 glass of beer.
Right.
I'm going to pay that extra $1 and say, sure, pour that in a cup for me, and I'll take it with me.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, if you got like a couple glasses of whiskey, if you got a scotch or anything, Jesus, that's
expensive stuff.
$25. You definitely pay the $1 to put it in a cup.
I don't think Troy has any, but if they had an establishment that sold Louis the 13th, you definitely not wasting that.
It's a couple $100 a shot.
That's not going to happen.
I don't think Troy's got establishments that are up that high.
Even $25 bottle, you don't want to pour that out.
Right.
But, for example, let's go back to the idea of the area and the DORA itself. Another example of a very successful DORA right now would be down in Dayton in the Oregon District. The Oregon District shuts down every Friday, and it stays shut down all weekend long. If you've ever been to Dayton, Ohio, and been through the Oregon District, it's on 5th Street between Patterson and Wayne, mostly. And that area is then shut down, and there are plenty of microbreweries. There are other drinking establishments that you can get your drinks from. There's lots of shops, different types of shops. I mean, it's a very eclectic place to visit.
Oh yeah.
And
they got vape shops. They got all kinds of shit.
Pretty much anything you can think of. I think there's even a Goodwill in there.
Maybe.
And so. There's a lot of things that you can experience and a lot of places that can get more revenue by the fact that now on a Friday or Saturday night, you can go down to the brewery down there that's a very good brewery. I've been there myself several times. And get yourself a drink and then walk around and do some shopping and stuff, and go back and get another drink, go around and do some more shopping. And, I mean, it's just, to me, it just makes so much sense to, allow this to happen. I feel like the opposition is not able to bring up any statistics. They just want to throw in the idea that, they just want to throw in the idea that they don't want children to see this. They don't want to see.
But do you take your kids to fucking a baseball game? You're going to see a drunk fight at a baseball game.
Yes, or a football game.
More
likely at a football game.
Major leagues. If you go to NFL, MLB, you're going to see drunks fight no matter where you are. I mean, there may be a rare instance where you don't see that.
Especially Bengals fans, man, they're crazy.
Oh my God.
Wow, way to go and shut off half our audience.
Well, that was today's topic. I hope you enjoyed our candid conversation. If you have any comments about our conversation today, please email us at wick.splaining@gmail.com. And even Donnie has something to say.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Subscribe, all right.